Africa is home to some of the oldest surviving cultures on Earth. For thousands of years, communities here have lived with the land, not on top of it, guided by ancestral knowledge, spiritual connection, and deep respect for nature. And among these communities, few are as iconic or as resilient as the Maasai. They are warriors, herders, and guardians of tradition. Stretching across southern Kenya and northern Tanzania, the Maasai live in remote, semi-arid regions, often hours from the nearest town, miles from the nearest paved road. They wear bright red shukas, they herd cattle, they sing in rhythm. They are fiercely proud, deeply spiritual, and unshakably connected to the land they walk on.
This is our home. We don't leave it. We are the children of this land. The cows are our life. The land is our mother.
But for all their strength, there's something missing here, something most of us never stop to think about. In many Maasai villages, there are no toilets, not one. Not for the elders, not for the mothers, not for the children. When someone here needs to relieve themselves, they walk to the bushes, even in the middle of the night, even during the rainy season, even if they're 70 years old, even if they're 5.
There are 300 people in this village. Not one has a toilet. When we need to go, we go far into the forest. It is not safe. It is not right.
Today, we're heading back into Maasai land, not for a cultural festival, not for a safari, but to spend time in one of these villages, to listen, to learn, and to understand a question that seems simple, but reveals so much more. Why don't they have toilets? Why haven't they built them? And what do they do when nature calls? So come with us to the other side of the world, where the land is open but privacy is rare, where a simple flush is replaced by a daily walk into the wild, and where one tribe is slowly starting to ask, is it time for change? This is not a story about poverty. It's a story about perspective, about how the world lives when it doesn't have what you take for granted. We're here now, so let's begin. Not just a journey into the Maasai world, but a journey into dignity, privacy, and the things that truly matter. This is not a ghost village. It's not forgotten. It's not abandoned. It's alive, pulsing with movement, children's laughter, cows calling, donkeys trotting back and forth, loaded with jerry cans of water. And it's growing, fast. We're standing at the edge of a maniata, a traditional Maasai homestead. The entire village is arranged in a loose circle. You can count over 30 houses, some round, some square, some freshly smeared with mud and dung, others cracked from heat and time. Inside these homes, entire families, grandparents, parents, young mothers, children, sometimes up to 20 people in a single enclosure, and in all of it, not a single toilet. This village alone is home to more than 300 people. One extended family here has over 60 members living across just a few homes. Another has 10 children, all under the age of 15. And yet, not one latrine, not even a shallow pit.
We wake up, we eat, we drink milk, but when it's time to go to the toilet, we go to the forest. That's all we've ever known.
Think about that for a second. Imagine raising 10 children, sharing food, sharing space, sharing laughter. But when one of them needs to go, even in the middle of the night, they have to walk into the darkness, into the bush, past the snakes, past the thorns, past the eyes of strangers.
We have food, we have milk, but we don't have a toilet, and that's the hardest thing. Every morning, we go to the bush. You can meet an elephant, you can meet a hyena, but you still go.
Na unakuja tu unajificha, unakaa tu hivi. Alafu ukimaliza hivi, unafanya hivi. Sasa hiyo lakini unaangalia tu kama iko watu, unafanya hivi.
This is the contradiction at the heart of this place. They have livestock, they have land, they have deep community ties, and now, increasingly, they have the desire to modernize, just enough to live with dignity. But they don't have the means, and they've never had the infrastructure, because for generations, this was never seen as a problem.
Before, we used to laugh about toilets. If someone built one, we would say, "Why? Are you sick?" But now, things have changed. We are many. We have guests. We have children. We need toilets.
They don't want gold. They're not asking for electricity or tiles. They're asking for a hole, a basic slab, a space with privacy. Because in a growing village, shame grows too.
When guests come, we prepare food. We sing for them, we dance. But when they finish eating, they ask for the toilet. And we just look at the bush. That's the part that breaks our heart.
It's a strange thing, the way shame sneaks into the most natural parts of life. In this village, there are no secrets. Cattle are birthed in front of children. Goats are milked by teenagers. People sleep on cowhide side by side. But when it comes to relieving yourself, everyone disappears. Even children have learned to be discreet.
You don't just walk out and go. You look left, look right. You try not to be seen. You find a spot far, far away. That is how we were raised. That is how we go.
The irony is, many here are ready to change. They want toilets. They've asked for them. But building even a basic pit latrine requires things they don't have. Tools, bricks, manpower, design, and sometimes permission. Because tradition still runs deep.
Some of the elders still say it's not our way. They say the bush is fine. But we, the younger ones, we want privacy. We want safety. We want change.
But for now, this is life. Wake up. Milk the cows. Fetch water. And when it's time to go to the toilet, you walk. You hide. You pray no one sees. You pray nothing bites. And then you come back, as if nothing happened.
It may seem like a small thing, but it's a big thing. A toilet brings respect. A toilet brings safety. A toilet brings peace of mind.
In a community that sings to celebrate life, that dances to welcome guests, that honors its elders and raises its children in the open. The absence of one small structure has created one of the biggest struggles. And as the community grows, the need grows louder. In this part of the world, wealth isn't measured in bank accounts. It's measured in hooves. Cattle are everything here. They're the bank, the grocery store, the dowry, the pension plan. And when the cows go, everything else goes too. We walk past the empty enclosures now, wooden fences once filled with hundreds of cattle. Today, nothing but silence. A single goat chews at the dry grass, bones scattered in the dust. It wasn't always like this.
Before 2017, my family had 100 cows. Our whole extended family had more than 400. We were rich, proud. But when the drought came, we lost them all. Today, we have only 2.
The drought of 2017 hit like a slow disaster. The rain stopped, the rivers shrank, the grass turned gray, then brown, then disappeared. Without grass, the cows starved. Without cows, the Maasai starved. They couldn't sell, they couldn't trade, they couldn't move. They just waited and watched their lifeline disappear.
When the cows died, it was not just hunger, it was shame, it was emptiness. We could not feed our children, we could not build anything, we could not even dream.
And when there's no livestock, the ripple effect begins. There's no money for school fees. Children stay home or start herding what's left. There's no money for water tanks, so women walk 5 kilometers every day, sometimes more, just to fill a yellow jerry can. There's no money for toilets, not even the most basic ones.
Like inside of toilets.
We want a toilet, yes, but how do we build it? With what money? There is no income. Just surviving is already hard.
We met one young man who looks after 14 siblings. His father passed away. The cows are gone. The only inheritance he received was responsibility.
Some of my brothers are older than me, but they don't go to school. We can't afford it. I take care of them. I try to guide them, but I have nothing. Only this land, and no way to build anything on it.
This is the reality of poverty here. It's not always visible at first glance. Because the sun still rises, the kids still smile. The cows, the few that remain, still wander. But behind every smile is a burden. Behind every hut is a family sleeping on cowhide, and a mother wondering how she'll feed her children next week.
At night, I take the children into the forest to go to the toilet. We don't even have a mattress, just skins. The biggest problem is toilets and water, and the school is very far. Sometimes I feel tired in the heart.
What's powerful is that no one we met asked for money. They didn't ask for donations. They asked for understanding and maybe a little help, building something simple, something that could change their lives.
We are not lazy. We are not weak. We lost what we had. But if we are given just a little, we can build again.
In the West, poverty is often hidden behind walls. Here, it stands in the open, under the sun, among the goats, beside the dry riverbed. But it's not just about what's missing. It's about what could be built. If the cows come back, if the rain returns, if someone listens. And sometimes, dignity doesn't begin with money. It begins with a toilet. Some things aren't said out loud here, not because they're secrets, but because they're uncomfortable. We had been in the village for days, walking, filming, listening, and everything felt open. Children ran barefoot and free. Women sang as they cooked. Men gathered under trees to talk. And yet, when the subject turned to toilets, everyone got quiet.
When a guest comes, we prepare food. We serve it with joy. But when they finish, we take them to the forest. That is the moment we feel ashamed. We feel it deep inside.
This shame isn't loud, it doesn't shout, but it shows up in small ways, in lowered eyes, nervous laughs, long silences. We were invited into a home for tea, warm milk, fresh from the cow, served in shared calabashes. The women sat in a circle, singing softly to the babies bouncing on their laps. There was laughter, lightness.
Please, forgive us. We don't have a toilet. If you need to go, we can walk you to the trees. That is how it is here.
She apologized for something that wasn't her fault. But that's how deeply this runs, because it's not just about going to the bathroom, it's about what it feels like to not be able to offer someone a basic comfort, to not be able to give your child a private space, to have visitors and know that at the end of their meal, you will escort them into the bushes.
Even when my own mother comes from church with the children, they run to the forest. I feel embarrassed. I want to hide.
And it's not just the guests. Every day, this community wakes up to the same routine. Fetch water, milk the cows, tend the fire, care for the children. And then, when nature calls, they disappear, quietly, carefully, far from sight.
Sometimes I wait until it's dark. I don't want anyone to see. I take the children with me, one by one. We go quietly, like we're doing something wrong.
Here, where everything is communal, the toilet is the only thing that's secret. But secrecy breeds shame, and shame isolates, even among family, even among friends. What's striking is how recent this awareness is. We spoke to one woman who had never seen a toilet until she was 33 years old.
I am 38 now, but until 5 years ago, I had never seen a toilet, not even one. If someone said the word, we laughed. We thought it was for people in the towns, not for us.
But things are changing, slowly. The young people have seen what's outside. Some of the elders are starting to shift too, not because someone told them to, but because the embarrassment is too much.
When I was a boy, we didn't question it. But now I see, my sisters, my mother, they suffer more. When they hide to go, I feel sorry. We need to change.
And this is where tradition meets tension. The Maasai are proud of their land, their cattle, their stories, their strength. But even pride has its breaking point, because dignity isn't about abandoning your roots. It's about protecting your people. We watched women sing, laughing as they prepared ugali over fire. And just hours later, we watched those same women disappear into thorny fields, clutching their skirts, guiding their children by the hand. Joy and shame side by side. It's hard to describe unless you see it, unless you feel it, and that's what this journey has been. Not just a story about toilets, but a story about what it feels like to not be able to offer someone privacy.
We are not asking for much. We just want to stop hiding. We want to have a place, a small one, but a clean one, a safe one.
In a place where everything is shared, from songs to stories to sleeping space, the one thing no one should have to share is their shame. But here they do, every single day. Every culture has its rhythm, its patterns, its way of walking through the world. In Maasai land, tradition isn't something you follow, it's something you wear. It's stitched into the red shuka that wraps the body. It's braided into the hair of young warriors. It echoes in the songs, passed from grandmother to daughter, and it beats with every footstep of the cattle, because here, culture and cattle walk side by side. So when someone speaks of change here, they don't do it loudly. They speak with care. They speak with respect. Because change is delicate. Too fast, and it feels like betrayal. Too slow, and it turns into suffering. We sat with a group of young men one afternoon, just beyond the edge of the village. The sun was low, their spears rested on their knees, and they stared into the hills like they were searching for something beyond the horizon.
We live with pride, Our fathers taught us strength, but we, the younger ones, we are starting to see a toilet is not something foreign. It's not weakness. It is dignity.
That word, dignity, it kept coming up, in whispers, in pauses, in between the lines of conversation. And that's when it hit us. This story was never just about toilets. It was about the quiet battle between holding on and letting go. The older men remember a time when even the idea of a toilet was laughable. What for? They had the land, they had the bush, they had freedom. But the world around them is shifting, and the cracks are starting to show.
Before, we would hear of people building toilets and say, they are lazy, afraid of walking. But now we see the truth. Even strength needs protection.
It's a complicated dance, the past and the future. The elders hold the memory of who the Maasai have always been. The youth hold the burden of what they're becoming. And both are right in their own way. One young woman told us that her uncle, a respected elder, still believes toilets are unnatural. That to close off the body from nature is to separate yourself from the land. But this same young woman had just given birth. And every time she needs to relieve herself, she has to walk hundreds of meters into the thorn bushes, even at night, even with her baby strapped to her back.
The elders still lead. We don't want to fight that, but we are the ones carrying the babies. We are the ones hiding in the dark. We need something better. The time to grow is now.
This is where culture meets its turning point. Not through argument, but through reality. Because what's the value of tradition if it leaves people behind?
I used to laugh at toilets. Now, when I go into the bush and someone sees me, I want to cry. Because I am old and I feel shame.
Her voice trembled as she said it, not from weakness, but from the weight of unspoken years. And in that moment, we understood something. This change, this shift toward sanitation, toward safety, toward privacy, it's not a rebellion. It's a return to the idea that even the most traditional life can still evolve.
Let us keep our cows, let us keep our beads, but let us also have a place to go without hiding, without fear, without shame.
The Maasai are not losing their culture. They are shaping it, because real tradition doesn't stand still. It walks forward, just like they always have, across the plains, through the dust, with strength in their stride and dignity in their hearts. On our last day in the village, something changed. Not the landscape, not the houses, not the forest where people still go in silence. What changed was how we saw it. We were invited to a farewell gathering. No script, no speeches, just singing, drumming, laughter, the kind of warmth that doesn't need translation. And as we stood in the center, surrounded by color, by song, by life, it hit us. We came here looking for toilets, but we found something far more powerful. We found resilience, we found community, we found humanity, stitched into every cowhide bed, every shy smile, every mother walking into the night with her child, just to go in peace.
You came to see our life, and now you've seen it. Not just the food, not just the dancing, but the truth, the hard parts. Thank you for listening.
That's the thing about dignity. It doesn't always come wrapped in concrete. Sometimes it comes in the form of a whispered confession, a brave admission, a mother saying, "I want something better for my daughter." Sometimes it starts with a toilet.
I want to build one, even just one, so my sister doesn't have to hide, so my wife can feel safe, so my guests don't feel shame.
This isn't about charity. It's not about saving anyone. It's about recognizing that privacy is a right, safety is a right, dignity is a right, and no one, no matter how remote, how traditional, or how proud, should have to hide behind a bush just to relieve themselves. So here we are, passing that voice on to you, to anyone watching this, to everyone who flushes a toilet without thinking. Because this isn't about toilets anymore. It's about being seen, being heard, being human. Edmund Weatherby was here, and this is Afrimax English. If you believe no one should have to hide behind a tree, if you believe a toilet is not a luxury, but a human right, then share this story, because these voices deserve to be heard, and this reality, it deserves to change. We'll be back here again, but until then, we leave with hope. If stories like this moved you, if you believe voices like theirs deserve to be heard, then hit subscribe, because out here, every story matters. Also make sure to check out the channel for more stories like this. See you in the next video.